And we're back.
We are back after a long absence, thanks mostly to everyone but me.
I know. First it was my fault, and then I think it was my fault again.
Probably,
Then
yeah.
we didn't. I was sick. I don't know. Sorry, everybody. Our listener is very angry that we have not posted another podcast. Sorry,
Yeah,
Derek.
I've been getting this angry email.
From you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I emailed myself from a different address, so it's kind of like playing with the stranger, And never mind.
Taking 3 or 4 weeks off or whatever between shows, it's really hard to maintain the no show prep moniker. But I tried hard. I accidentally was thinking about Mud today, and I said, "What are you doing? It's like show prep. It's relax."
I like how Dave here, because we're trying to be a new sleeker, svelter sort of pretentious movie snobs that gets in and out of there in 30 minutes. And Dave has already announced the movie that we're talking about this week because we didn't mention it before, and that is Mud, directed by Jeff Nichols. It's available on Netflix Instant Watch, which also demonstrates part of our sort of paradigm shift we're doing here at the Pretentious Movie Snobs, because we like doing the show. We don't like leaving the house, or we have children, or we work, or we have weird prospective diseases. So we are going to be focusing on this show mainly on stuff that you can get on Netflix Instant Watch.
Yeah, movies for shut-ins. That's what we're focusing on.
Movies that you can see in your own home. We'll occasionally still be heading out to the theaters for some big deals. Apparently not Godzilla big deals or X-Men big deals, but other big deals.
I saw 2 movies in the theater this time around, so we'll talk briefly about those.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to look into the camera more often, too. Do you like that?
I do.
People at home. What was that?
That was nice.
Do we have any grievances to air? Movie grievances to air before we? Any updates on like Bryan Singer buggering anybody or?
We got to talk about people who've died.
Maya Angelou.
These are the people who died.
No, we got to talk about movie people who've died. Who cares about Maya Angelou?
These are the movie people who died.
No, she's a black woman. Let's just say, R.I.P. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, so every time a white guy dies now, should we Dave and I make like special shows?
No.
Like Tom Schusterman just died. I don't know who he was, but
this is reverse racism. I'm already outnumbered with the 2 of you. The least you guys can give me is a rest in peace, Maya Angelou. That's it.
Okay, I never liked any of her poetry though, but I liked her. I liked her deep baritone voice. She sounded like Thomas Sowell. She was like the. She sounded like my favorite economist.
Hey, she liked guns.
She did.
Yeah, she once chased somebody out of her house, right?
Mm-hmm. Very
good for her. Didn't like her poetry though. Never really. I don't like any poetry though. It's no slam against her.
You're not a poet guy, yeah. That makes sense.
Nothing to do with being black either, right?
Especially not this modern poetry, this Jackson Pollock-esque poetry that they have these days. These kids with their poetry.
The stuff that don't rhyme, you mean?
Stuff that don't rhyme, or pretentious stuff that, like, I don't know. It's just like a verbal version of Jackson Pollock painting.
Well, we got a few other folks who've died who are. I know. I'm stomping right over you here, Kimmy, because I'm a jerk and want to talk.
Yeah.
But there's some people a little more relevant to the. I'm just being mean every step here. Gordon Willis.
Ooh, that's gonna be
Gordon Willis, one of the greatest cinematographers in cinema history. He shot the Godfather films. He shot Annie Hall and Manhattan.
Never heard of him.
But you've seen his work.
That is not a reflection on Gordon Willis.
No, he was a baller.
I shot the Parallax View.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh.
But yeah,
one.
Interiors. We discussed in the cinematography of interiors pretty deeply here on the Pretentious Movie Snobs.
Yeah, we went really deep. We really dropped a digit on that one.
Ew. And also H.R. Giger died earlier in May. H.R. Giger, who is a Swiss artist who was responsible for the designs of the Alien in Alien and Aliens. And
you've mentioned him before as well. He passed away?
Yes, just a few weeks ago, May 12th.
He appeared in that Alejandro Jodorowsky documentary that I saw a while back, but he was actually dead before they interviewed him. No one knew. It was very creepy too. So I was like, "What's wrong with that guy?"
Yeah, he's a really creepy-looking guy. They talk about that a lot on the Alien documentaries on the Blu-ray set for all the Alien. How he looked like a creepy little guy. But he was really very nice, and he was an incredibly hard worker. He would work all day on stuff and do really incredibly intricate stuff. A lot of the designs for the set, not just the designs, but he built a lot of the sets for Alien himself.
Oh yeah,
he would just be in there and carving things away. Yeah, he worked on the movie for months.
All right. R.I.P. HR.
Yeah. R.I.P. HRG. And there's one other person who died who, because this needs to be mentioned because we talked about his movie last episode. The last episode we talked about documentaries, and the director of one of those documentaries, Malik Benjalal, the director of Searching for Sugar Man, killed himself.
He did?
Yes, on May 13th.
Oh, God.
Well, good. Yeah. You know why? Because he was about to go on a shooting rampage, but he took our advice, and he killed himself first. So thank you. What's your name?
Yeah, he was Malik Benjalal. Yeah, he was, I guess he was depressed, and, ended his life, which is, it's too bad, because Searching for Sugar Man was a hell of a movie.
It was a very nicely done movie, and I am sorry for the man's family, despite the joke that I just made.
Yeah, that's a terrible joke. Oh man, but that's about it. I don't think did anyone die today?
I don't know.
There was a chemist who died a few days ago. Alexander Shulgin. Yeah, chemist. Oh man, it's pretty bad. And the footballer. I'm just looking at Wikipedia now. I'm just looking through a list.
Who died today? Maybe we can just move on. If we remember, we can bring it up.
Yeah.
Later.
Okay. Yeah, we'll sprinkle in the dead people later. And if Maya Angelou, yes, rest in peace, Maya Angelou.
Wojciech Jaruzelski. We can't forget about Wojciech Jaruzelski, the communist leader of Poland, who was born in 1923.
Oh, whatever.
How many people was he responsible for the death of?
I don't know, but the anti-communist in Poland, those guys are awesome.
Yeah.
I think Václav Havel was that guy's one of my heroes. I'm just
double-checking. You anti-communist of Poland.
No, he was a Czech. Václav Havel was a Czech. What was the name of the Polish one? Guy who was really instrumental in fight. They're great guys. Anyhow, let's talk about movies.
We're losing
I hope so. I'm sorry. Well, I'll quit the. Oh, Václav Havel died a couple of years ago. That made me so sad when it happened. What the hell am I doing? I am ruining this show.
We gotta move on.
So, it's been a couple of weeks. What movies have people seen?
It's been almost a month.
It has been almost a month, and I hope we've been stocking up movies to talk about, but I'm going to toss it to Kimmy first, in deference to her mourning period over Maya Angelou.
So what am I supposed to say here?
What movies have you seen lately that you want to talk about?
I have been so busy that I have not seen enough movies. Let's see if I have my list here. I usually used to watch more. I watched Dirty Rotten Scoundrels.
What is burp?
And the reason why I watched it is because Dave had been talking about it when I had seen him in person. You were missed, Kent.
What the hell?
And I wanted to see it.
When was this?
He's a good director.
When did you all get together without me?
The time for a friend's birthday that you said the gout was holding you back.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, my gout kept me out.
Yeah, you were like, I can't do it. I got a little bit of gout.
My gout kept me out. My gout kept me out. White boy rap. Okay. So, how did you like Dirty Rotten Scoundrels?
I enjoyed it. You know what? It has so many rave reviews. I found it, I don't want to say it was slower, but it was a little slower than I had expected. But it had one of those, it had that type of humor that you're going to be laughing at it after the fact. So I really enjoy Frank Oz. I think he also did Bowfinger with Steve Martin as well. And, I found that he was very slow, but he was very methodical, and everything, like, you could just see how he would direct these scenes that were just so intentional and so enjoyable that I actually enjoyed that a lot. But yeah, I thought it was a little slower. I loved Michael Caine's performance, and Steve Martin is just a ham, and I do recommend it. I don't know if it's dated yet. I don't know if that's what it is. Is that, I mean, it was 89 or 88. But I did enjoy it. I say watch it. Yeah, that's it.
That's a movie I watched a lot when I was younger, and I have the impression that I always thought that it was hilarious for an hour, and then it got a little boring for young Conrad. I don't know what I would think of it. I haven't seen it for so long.
Yeah, I'd be interested to think, if you ever do watch it again. I don't know if it holds up as well as it did when it came out in the 80s, but I think it's still a great movie, and I think they both give great performances.
Beautiful. What did we do when Uncle Ted came? Thank you. That was my Michael Caine. That wasn't too bad, was it? What did we do when Uncle Ted came?
Was that an impersonation?
Yes. What did we do when Uncle Ted came? And then he squirts the KY onto his rubber glove, and he says, "No, after that." Ruprecht.
Ruprecht.
Right. Ruprecht. That's my favorite moment. Yeah, the Ruprecht moment. Well, are you kick it over to me, Ken, or are you gonna go, Ken?
Yeah, well, let's kick it over to you, because I think I'm interested.
I'll save. I saw Godzilla, but I'll save that till leading into you, because I know you saw it as well.
Spoilers.
I'm working on a new screenplay, so I was doing some research, meaning I'm sitting on my couch with a cocktail, watching movies that are just in the same genre of revenge film. So I caught one called Chrome and Hot Leather from 1971. Wow. It was actually fairly entertaining, although I think it's about a 5.2 on IMDb. Directed by Lee Frost. It stars William Smith. Kent, you know who William Smith is?
Not off the top of my head, but I'm looking it up right now.
You didn't want to ask me? Maybe I know who he is.
How about you, Kimberly?
No, I don't know.
William Smith is most notable for me is he plays the father of Conan in Conan the Barbarian.
All right.
He's a very handsome man back in the day. There's 70s, late 60s, early 70s. Super ripped, just great physique, and he's got a good look. He's kind of dark-haired. If you look him up, William Smith from that movie especially, he's a biker guy. But it's some bikers get into a thing with this girl. They run her off the road, and the guy's coming back from Vietnam, and it's his girlfriend. So he decides he's going to go after these bikers, and pretty cheesy. Actually, kind of fun at some points. Marvin Gaye appears in the movie. He's one of the soldiers that's in this guy's platoon and helps him out. So that was interesting. I actually kind of recommend that one if you've had a couple of malt liquors.
Chrome and Hot Leather.
Chrome and Hot Leather. I want
to ask what drew you to watch this movie.
I was just doing. I discovered, by the way, tying it into Netflix. Thank you for asking, Kimberly. Tying it into Netflix. Netflix doesn't really have that great of a search engine on their own platform if you're watching, say, on the Roku box.
Dude, you're going to screw up the sponsorship.
Oh, shit.
No, you're right. It's terrible. It's horrible.
There's another one on the Roku you can get. It's like a more advanced search. It has more stuff in it. You can go to that one. It's like a Netflix alternative channel to find stuff. But also, I learned to embrace the asterisk button. There's an asterisk on there. If you select a movie and you hit the asterisk, it says you want to view more titles like this. And then it opens up a whole new row of things, and that's how I started finding. I was looking for Death Wish, and I said, I want to see some revenge films. So I hit asterisk, and it showed me all these, and Chrome and Hot Leather was one of those. And also, I think it's called One Man's Justice with Brian Bosworth. Actually, I think it gets 3.5 stars, which is actually a fairly good rating on Netflix. But that one wasn't really bad too. I still have about 20 minutes to go on that one. But like I say, they're in the genre of the screenplay that I'm sort of researching and incubating on right now. So I want to watch some.
So that's what was the name of the big Stone Cold? That was the one where Brian Bosworth. That was going to be his big kind of action debut. That didn't work out.
Uh-oh. What happened to Kimmy? Kimmy froze up.
She done stuck.
Yeah, Kimberly's freezing up. Oh, dear. Are
Are
you
you
back?
there?
Are you back? Yeah, we lost you for a second.
Oh, I'm here.
Okay.
I was
What
just
were you
saying,
saying?
what is it with you watching all the big buff men? Was that the common theme?
Oh, I'd like to be a big buff man someday when I grow up,
Okay.
but I'm too old now, so I forgot about that dream. I pushed it aside. Um,
Okay.
but no, I wasn't really looking for the big buff men. I was going for the adventure, the revenge aspect, and
Sure. Okay.
making structural notes on the ones that are done well, and stuff like this. Oh, and also, real quick, when there was a John Schneider one, he comes back from Nam, and he's a priest, but his wife and daughter get killed by this terrorist guy, and he throws off his frock going after the killers, going back to like Lebanon or something. That one's not as interesting as the other ones, but also checked out in the theater, in the walk-in, as my dad would say. I checked out Million Ways to Die, the Seth MacFarlane Western.
In the West,
Yeah.
yeah.
Million Ways to Die in the West, sorry, yeah. I keep getting it confused with 8 Million Ways to Die, which is that old, which one is that? 8 Million Ways to Die. Andy Garcia, I think, might be in that one.
Is that's based on a Lawrence Block book, I think.
That sounds right.
It stars Jeff Bridges.
Bridges, is Andy Garcia also in that one, or am I thinking of him and something else?
I'm
No, you're
not
right, Jeff
sure.
Bridges.
Yeah, stars Jeff Bridges. It's based on Lawrence Block. It was the first adaptation of his Matthew Scudder character, who is going to be coming out in a new movie in September, starring Liam Neeson in the movie A Walk Amongst the Tombstones.
That was one of the
Which
trailers.
I'm excited about. So,
That was one of the trailers that I saw in front of Million Ways to Die in the West, and it
Looks pretty good.
That looked not bad. Yeah. That looked pretty good. From what I can hear of it, there's a couple of jackholes kind of across the aisle just talking through the entire fucking trailer. They leave the lights on now while they're playing trailers, and this fucking annoys me because people think it's talk time and it's commercials. They show commercials and then they show trailers, but no. Commercials are commercials, and then trailers are trailers. Shut the fuck up when the trailers are playing. I wanted to get a picture of them and tweet them out, but they shut up after a while, so I didn't.
You calmed down.
Yeah, I did.
So, how was A Million Ways to Die in the West?
I rather enjoyed it. I think I'd give it a B. Pretty funny. Seth MacFarlane is good. Had a nice romance that actually worked. Little long-ish. Not all the jokes were hitting the mark, so they probably could have easily chopped this down to about a 100-minute movie from the 100. I think it's 155, like an hour 55. No wait, yeah, it's like almost 2 hours, but they could have easily chopped that 15 minutes, tighten that puppy up, and it would have been good, but better. But still, very funny. A lot of super crazy, stuff that I would throw into a movie that I liked, like he's at the fair and he goes to he's going to try the shooting gallery, and it's the runaway slave shooting gallery. He's shooting runaway slaves that are it's like, oh dear. This sounds like a joke that I would put in, but super insensitive stuff like that he's really good at. It kind of reminded me of no, you don't like Family Guy?
Yeah, that, but I don't like his movies.
Yeah, you didn't like Ted?
No.
No. This one had a little bit of a feel of like a Groucho Marx, Bob Hope, Woody Allen thing, where they've inserted this modern guy into an older story, into a period thing. And I wouldn't say he's Groucho quality or Woody Allen or even Bob Hope, but good. I enjoyed it.
Okay.
And the story works. It's a story of the character has a good arc that I enjoyed, and it didn't. It plays out in an interesting way, not a cliche. And it does have a very 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 good cameo too. It's one of my favorite cameos since Defending Your Life. I think the Shirley MacLaine's cameo in Defending Your Life, where she ran the Past Lives Pavilion when he was dead. It's akin to that. It's like, that was a brilliant cameo. So I won't say what it is.
Yeah. Sounds intriguing.
How about the Bill Murray cameo? How does it compare to that?
In the zombie one.
I was going to say
that was not just a cameo. That was just a big surprise. This was just a little one little scene. You're like, oh, that was great.
Okay.
And Merv Griffin in The Man with Two Brains is a pretty awesome one too.
Ooh.
Just hold that in your memory.
I'm of the general opinion that there needs to be some sort of physical punishment to directors and performers who are in comedies that are over 90 minutes long.
I agree.
Yeah.
Because every minute over 90, you're there too long.
Yeah.
Yeah, that had a little bit of feel. It didn't anger me, but I just thought, I thought it was good, but it could have been very good if it was pulled back a little, trimmed back a little.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
and
on that note, I think we should respect that role
I
for
know Kimmy's dead tired and wants to read it, but we both saw Godzilla.
for podcasts.
Yeah, well, I got to talk about the movies I've seen, but
Oh,
also
you have to talk about your stuff. Please,
I watched a lot of Miyazaki movies over the last few weeks. Nausicaa, The Valley of the Wind, Castle of the Sky, My Neighbor Totoro. My Neighbor Totoro is one of the greatest movies ever made. And they're all great. Okay, that's about it.
That was it? How did you find the time to watch them all?
And Godzilla.
I've been prepping a long review because I've been reading Miyazaki's memoirs. Yeah, the guy really dances around trying not to say I don't like Americans, but it's hard for him. But I also just.
Oh no, I'm sorry, hon. I heard you watched Godzilla as well.
Yeah, and Godzilla, Dave Smith and I, separately of course, but we were together in spirit. Watched this movie, this new version of the old Toho classic, and I liked it. It was pretty good. It had a big monster that came out of the ocean and it knocked over buildings.
Me too. I enjoyed it. I saw it with Todd. He came down from Glendale, and we came into the theater with a couple of little bottles of sake. We always do that when we're seeing movies together, and especially with the Japanese theme.
Yeah, that fits in.
I was very hard to pay attention for the first act or so. Kent, let me know if you think the same way as Bryan Cranston's hair.
Well, that's his real hair. I mean, that's.
Are you sure? Because that looked like a wig.
He's not a bald guy. That's when you see his hair's grown out. That's what his hair looks like.
Well, it looked like
maybe
a wig.
it could have been a wig. It could. I
think it was a wig.
But I didn't care.
And then okay, good. But I kept thinking he's using Oliver Stone's hair people from the 90s. It's pissing me off. And I kind of thought his whole part was rather superfluous. What the fuck was he there for? Other than to get the other lead character to go to Japan. I mean, he basically was watching this thing and provides basically a tidbit of information to the people right before they would have learned it anyway. And it's why was he there?
I'll tell you why he's there.
Why is he there?
Breaking Bad.
Yeah, he's there to get people who wouldn't see a Godzilla movie to go see Godzilla.
Exactly.
Well, then, perfect. Well, I didn't go see it. I wouldn't see it because it's Godzilla. I don't want to see it.
Yeah, see, but that's different. That's a different audience. Well, what I heard Bryan Cranston was, that's neat, Bryan Cranston. I thought he was. I thought that section, you're probably right, but you cannot start a Godzilla movie with Godzilla coming out of the ocean. You need about an hour of build-up. And that's what you need there.
That's true, and that's what we got. It's about the midpoint. That's when Godzilla actually really starts to show his hand.
And not more than I think it's common knowledge now. So it's more than Godzilla. It's and that I think is the thing that made that movie really work is that it's not really a Godzilla movie. It's a Godzilla versus movie.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, and there was both Todd and I. Okay, as you can imagine, Godzilla does beat up some monsters and probably kills them because that's what he does. Todd and I completely missed one of the death. There's only 2 monsters in there, other monsters. Todd and I completely were like, "What happened to the other monster? Did you see what happened?"
Yeah, did you see when he did the thing with his tail? And yeah.
Okay, we totally missed it. Maybe it was the drink.
Yeah, he whapped. Spoilers! If you haven't seen Godzilla, go ahead a minute. He hit him with his tail and knocked him into a building, and he's had like pieces of building sticking through him. And he went raw and died.
I didn't see that part. I didn't even notice that. Okay, well. There were some really good Godzilla moments, though. It paid off there, and I like how he's CG, but he still looks like he could be a guy in a suit. Right?
Yeah, and he's kind of chubby. I like that he's kind of chubby. And,
yeah,
and he's. But the things I want to say about this movie, I will say like in a couple months. I don't want though. Everyone who's seen it, I liked how it worked. I liked how it ended. I wish Godzilla did more than what he does. Because I think I'm going to do this abstractly, and again, skip ahead a minute if you don't. Godzilla swims, he hits a guy with his tail, he breathes on a guy, and then he takes a nap. And those are about all the actions attributable to Godzilla in the whole film. He walks a bit. He does. Even if he'd thrown a couple more punches, I would have been happier. because I felt by the time that Godzilla was in some dire. Really, skip ahead, guys. Don't listen to this if you haven't seen the movie. If he was in some dire straits, I thought, but he hasn't even done anything yet.
Well, they took. I think they cut that scene where he enrolled in night classes because.
Well, I want that. I wanted him to. He doesn't know where his Godzilla wife is. That this whole time, just did the Mutos get to her? And I thought I'm going total spoilers here. I thought at the end it would have been great because if he had like put on a hat and like winked at the camera before he strolled off into the. And maybe had it end with an iris on him as he was going down.
So
I'm sorry if everyone.
So Godzilla will deliver if you're a Godzilla fan. It was good enough. It was fun. I'm gonna borrow a phrase from Bald Bryan from the Adam Carolla show. The lead character was a bit charisma free. We say the hero. Good,
well,
but.
You don't have a lot you can do there because you don't. I think one of my least favorite movies of the aughts was Steven Spielberg's War of the Worlds.
Oh.
I hated that movie, and I hated it because it was what would happen if I like Tom Cruise, I like him fine, but what would happen if aliens invaded and longshoreman Tom Cruise needed to get back to his wife? And it was the whole movie was predicated. I don't care. I want to see the aliens invade. This was okay. Here's how, this guy gets in all these situations, but him getting back to his wife was just it's a little frosting. It was not the main heart of the story. The heart of the story is what the hell's going on with this natural disaster.
You gave me another idea though. It's like aliens invade on Super Bowl Sunday and they disrupt the signal. So someone's got to go get the signal and get it back on because it's the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But we're not here to talk about Godzilla because Kimmy's about to fall asleep. We are here to talk about Jeff Nichols' Mud.
Mud.
Yeah, I wish we had like music. I wish we had like a guy who could do drops here so we could like play.
Hey guys, this is Matthew McConaughey. I can't do him at all.
Nah,
I'm working on it though.
Okay.
I'm starting a new acting school.
You know what you sound like?
Last...
You know when South Park does those impersonations of people and it doesn't sound like anything like them?
Is that what mine sounds like?
Like a tree. You don't want. Now, Mud.
Go ahead.
First, Mud isn't the amazing thing about Mud is it's all about Matthew McConaughey trying to keep his shirt on.
But he took it off. We knew it was coming.
No, I had to, but yeah. Mud is about.
You joke about that, but that's part of my acting school that I'm it's called washboard style acting. You need to have a washboard
all right.
coming and just grin. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. Do you got like a hook? A hook that we can hook Dave, pull him off the stage when he's doing these Matthew McConaughey things. This is
the big hook coming.
The big hook, or maybe just a big Monty Python foot. Just gonna.
Oh yeah.
Anyhow, two young boys encounter a fugitive and form a pact to help him evade the vigilantes that are on his trail and to reunite him with his true love. Was that right off the top of my head? No, it wasn't. I read it off IMDb. But that's what this movie's about. It's a kind of a coming-of-age story about these two Louisiana kids who are both have not great families, and they find this lonely drifter on an island in the middle of a lake. And does he rape and murder them like most lonely drifters would? Nah, he's a lovesick ex-con who is trying to get out of the state, and they decide to help him. Mud.
Mud.
Yeah. So what did we all think of Mud?
I rather liked Mud.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I love the kids, especially the romantic. I forget his name. Evan?
Yeah.
Ellis? The kids were very good.
Ellis. Ty Sheridan. Yeah, it's Ellis and Neckbone. Those are the kids. I love the one kids called Neckbone. Yeah, they were really good. Much better than kid actors are in this sort of thing.
Yeah. I will say, and I actually thought Dave chose this movie. It's a little misogynistic for my liking.
Yeah, I don't see that at all. But yeah.
What's that? You don't see that being a problem?
No, I don't see it being misogynistic. I think that's a misinterpretation. But let's keep going.
Well, if you think about it, first of all, we have. I mean, I don't know what Reese Witherspoon was really doing in that. The movie. I mean, she really didn't have much of a role, but she was the he held her up on a pedestal, and she wore
Yeah.
her little jean shorts. And then, of course, she is in the film noir, she would be like the femme fatale who is the cause for all of the problems that have resulted in this man's life. And then you also have, it's definitely more a father-son kind of, or a male bonding type of movie.
Right.
And the other female role was, what's her name? Sarah. What is her name?
Sarah Paulson.
Sarah, thank you. Sarah Paulson?
Yeah.
She, again, has decided she wants to break up with the father, so that's going to, of Ellis's, with Ellis's dad, so that's going to just tear up or shatter the home as they know it. So, it's just, I find that these women aren't really, they're not really positive role models. And you have Mud. The only reason why he does anything is because of his love for Juniper. And then this Ellis kid who falls madly in love with that bitch, and who again is done with him after the first date. So again, it's another portrayal of a woman or a girl in a negative light. And then at the very end of the movie, you have the beautiful shot of I don't know if this is a spoiler or not, but Matthew going off into not sunset because it was daylight, with the guy that was his like father figure and has saved his life, and he is finally at peace because he's cut the succubus loose. So that's why it seemed like it was a little misogynistic for my taste.
I think you're just seeing your own issues here, because the problem with these men was not their women. The problem with these men was that they expected these women to solve their problems.
I agree with Kent on that.
Yeah, it's not Juniper's fault that Mud's hung up on her. He is the one who's offering his services in that way. It's not, and I thought it was, actually fairly carefully constructed, with the Sarah Paulson, and you don't get much of her side of her story, but you're really looking at everything through Ellis's point of view, and Ellis doesn't care because Ellis has kind of a romantic view of everything, and he sees things in black and white. And so the storyline is that Sarah Paulson. Mara Lee, it's Ellis's mother, wants to move out of the houseboat she's lived in her whole life, and so that's going to ruin, because if they move out of the houseboat, then the government can take it, those revenuers, and they will. They want to break up these houseboats, but they can't when people are living on them. But then that'll mean that Ellis's dad doesn't have his job fishing on the river anymore. But the problem there is not that she's taken away his livelihood. The problem is that he, the man who should be provided for his family, has depended on his wife for his livelihood this entire time.
That's true.
And similarly, and that's why we're going to get into spoilers here. You can see this on Instant Watch. It's been a movie that's been out for a couple years. I really liked the end when, and I'm almost certain it was hard to see because all these teenage girls all look alike, but where it was not the same girl who gave Ellis a wink at the end. It was a different one. And so you'd see they'd all gotten over the problem. The problem with these guys, with Mud, is that he's stuck on Juniper when Juniper's bad for him and he's bad for her. He enables terrible behavior in her, and she's not that great, but neither is he. That's why I don't think it's not about look at these horrible women destroying these men. It's look at these idiot men hung up on women who are no good for them. In a couple of cases, yeah.
Yeah, I'm with Kent on this one, and I was looking at the movie more from that angle too, and Ellis he's at the point in his life where he's going to embark on his relationships. He's seeing what am I supposed to think about women here? This is what he's wrestling with, and he's obviously trying to save his parents' relationship through Mud and Juniper, But he's forming his own opinions about relationships. What are they supposed to be? And that's what I was watching. I thought that was really interesting, and I like the thing at the end. It's like, he'll be okay. He'll be okay.
Well, that's what they're saying, but I would have liked there to have been at least one positive female role model.
I think the mom was fine. I thought I was with her. I thought she wanted out. She wanted something better. I'm like, okay, perfect, good. Dad seems like he's kind of He's like, he's a bit of a drag, and like you said, he probably, he is relying on her, but she wanted more. She grew up in that stupid boat. She wants out, and he should support her in that. But I thought she was good for leaving, actually. Or probably they don't get into why. I mean, the dad seemed like an okay guy, but he should grow with the wife. That's what women are here for, is to make men grow. In mythological terms, they introduce us to the next stage of life. They turn us from babies into boys, from boys into men, from men into fathers, from fathers into grandfathers. That's how we evolve. So he was resisting evolving with the mother. So she was a good character, and then the other girl was kind of bitchy, but it was just one of those things like he was a young kid, and well, she wasn't really a bitch until he beat up the guy she was sitting in the car with. He punched him in the face. She was cute and okay, but she didn't think the same things he thought about the relationship because he's new. He's new to the game.
Yeah, and that was sad because he tried to call her and she wouldn't call him back. I felt for him.
But you see that's but I think that's where it shows that he was looking at things in the wrong way. He had sort of a romantic / tragic view of life where there's this great romance that was going to occur with her. No, dude, it's a chick. You had a date, didn't work out. Next.
Yeah, next, move on.
And that's the way that happy people can live. Though you can do it wrong too, which I think was the point of the Michael Shannon character.
Oh, I think he was underused.
I really liked him.
Who's that?
But
Shannon.
Is it just me? He wasn't in there very long.
He was not. He was off fighting Superman.
Who was he?
He had to truncate the role. He was Neckbone's uncle.
Okay,
yeah. I love because they introduced him. He's kind of the reverse of Juniper, Reese Witherspoon's character, where he is the guy who he gets women to sleep with him, and that's kind of his deal, and he doesn't make many bones about it, and so he's kind of like her, but without the horrible tragedies. Yeah, he's kind of, and I love how quickly they establish his character after.
Beautifully done. That was one of the best.
Where they have that with that scene, and then when he sees, and in a worse movie, he would have been kind of an asshole to everybody, but where he sees that the Ellis character's taken his book on learning how to pick up chicks, basically, and he sees he's got it, he doesn't make fun of him. He says, "Make sure you do the worksheets in the back." I love that little bit of character. And,
So
speaking of,
I
have to say this very quickly. I was on the road, and guess what I saw in a young man's hand? But the
did you call the police?
No.
Oh,
that's another story. I did see
was this at Isla Vista? Oh,
I had to tell a guy to zip up though on the street on the subway. I had to tell him. I was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, usually I keep quiet. I was like, "Zip it up," and he's threw over his head, and he was just letting it all hang out. But that wasn't the story. What I was gonna say was someone was reading the game. I didn't realize the game was still relevant after all these years. That's all. That's all. He looked like he was straight out of
what is the game is.
You can explain it. It's like the what is it? The rules, but that book of the rules that girls have to get guys, but it's for men.
Well, girls don't need a rule book to get guys. They just have to say yes.
Yeah.
I will have sex with you.
You should have gone up to that kid. You said, "Hey, you're supposed to have moved on to mystery method by now."
Yes.
or maybe Roos's day bang, something like that.
All I know is the neg. The neg. And he was one of those.
The neg is completely misunderstood.
Yes.
I know we've discussed
if you think the neg is an insult, you don't understand the neg. But and it's worse for guys because guys who think it's an insult, that's just stupid. What's it? Okay. Anyhow. Sorry.
But I digress.
Pickup artist stuff. Yeah, the game is a pickup artist book on how to get girls, and a lot of interesting, good stuff. And that was some of the first conversations Kimberly and I ever had was about that book. We met around the time that book came out, so we were talking a lot about that book. And
the dialogue continues. But I cut you off. I apologize, so please go on with what you were saying.
Cut who off?
I don't know.
Me? I forget.
Dave.
I don't know what the hell I was talking about.
anyway, I'm gonna, because we got to wrap up. We are well over, not well over, but somewhat over time. We're at about the 40-minute mark, and we will get these 3. And next week, whatever we talk about, we'll probably get into the movie quicker. But it's been a while. We had to catch up. I think that Mud is exactly the sort of independent movie I like. It's the sort of thing that has quirky characters, but it goes deep into all the characters. They're not just quirks, and it has a frickin' story, which a lot of independent movies seem to bend over backwards not to do.
Mhm.
What do you think his name is Mud? I haven't really thought about the title. What do we think about why it's called Mud, or why his name is Mud?
This is just off the top of my head. I think it's because he's incomplete. He still's got to be made. Man's made from mud.
Murky. Okay.
And since he's hung up on Juniper, he's not a complete man because he's dependent on her for what's coming next.
Mud can be formed and then hardened into something.
Yeah, that's what he's got to do. Yeah, because.
All right. Well, I like it. Well, that was interesting.
We didn't really talk about Matthew McConaughey's performance. How did you guys enjoy
Oh,
it?
Kimmy, I was great. You just admit it. I was great.
See, I think it seems people always like or always hate Matthew McConaughey. I like him.
I like him
You
too.
do?
I like Matthew McConaughey. Yeah, I thought it was good in this. It's actually if you look at it, each of his roles on their own, it seems like he's just playing the same guys talking like this all the time. All right.
You got to
look
out your
good.
jaw underneath a little bit
Has the
if you want to do him pretty good like that.
I'm gonna take my shirt off. But you see, it's what he did here is like a complete contrast to the character he did in True Detective, which is completely different from his very best role as the military commander in Reign of Fire, fighting dragons.
Really? That's sarcasm.
I erased that one from my mind.
I was just hoping. Damn, I was hoping people saw Reign of Fire.
Sarcasm.
I remember I wanted to hate Matthew McConaughey because it seemed like because at one point he was in the Runaway Jury. Was it Runaway Jury or was it the Rainmaker? But he was on the cover of every magazine. It was like he'd been ordained to be the new big star before he'd done anything worthwhile, and that pissed the hell out of me.
Yeah. His hair started thinning too for a while, but he actually, who was it that fixed his hair? It's his real hair. It's not a wig. But his hair was starting to like go, and somebody, who was it? It was one of those like Regenics or something.
Could it be God, Dave?
No, I don't think it was Rogaine. I think it was Regenics or something.
I think it was God.
But they actually fixed his problem, whatever he had. And thank God for an actor that could suck like Nicolas Cage. Look at look what happens.
Oh, it's horrible. Well, Ben Affleck too.
Oh yeah, does he wear a tube?
Yep, he wears a tube.
I'm just looking here through his filmography. He's in a lot of good stuff. Lone Star. Matthew McConaughey. He had a good small role in Lone Star, which I don't like that movie very much, but I thought he was really great in it. U-571, which is again not a great movie, but he had a good role in there. Is U-571? That was one of the. Oh yeah, that was the one where the movie where they pretended that the Americans got the Enigma machine. That was annoying. I'm just looking, this is our show. This is me looking through IMDb and making comments on things that I'm not going to contextualize, preface, do anything. I'm just yeah.
That's how we do it.
That's how we roll, Killer Joel.
We are, as I say, the movie podcast with no show prep, and we're highbrow, low energy. So.
Low energy. But we liked the movie. I liked the movie. I didn't hate it. It was a little slow, but overall, I think we all liked it. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Cool.
All right.
So next week we're going to be watching something fascinating that will be picked by either Dave or Kimmy. They get to decide. And until then, we have been the Pretentious Movie Snobs, this new sleeker, faster, Netflix instant watcher.
And hopefully more regular. We're going to try to get it out to you every Thursday, which means we'll record it every Wednesday. See, so
and we'll
try.
This is the Metamucil edition. We're going to be so regular. You're going to be able to stand it. You're setting your watch by it.
And you want to plug your books before we go, Kent?
No.
No?
You got a new book, Kent?
No, not this week. I'm working on some new stuff. So.
Kent, you have a lot of reviews on some
right.
though, so you must be selling some, huh?
Every once in a while. Dead First is the really good one.
Okay, and I have like 2 reviews.
Dead First is good. Oh, cool. I haven't had a chance to read your book yet, David. So.
I still have to read it.
Take a look at that. But yeah, buy my book, Whiskey Tango, a whole nother kind of spy novel. You can find it on Amazon. Type that whole thing in and you'll find it. Author D.W. Smith. Go ahead. It's only 99 cents now. I dropped the price down. So, and buy Kent's book, Dead First. That's F-U-R-S-T.
So clever.
All right. Well, yes, you're right. We have been the Movie Snobs, Pretentious Movie Snobs, and you already said that stuff. So let's just sign off and say good night.
Night.
Good night, everyone.